Okay, what base can it have? So you know we made the short pastry. Okay, what does it have? It's got butter, flour, water or egg to make a base. So that's a pastry. So this one is a quick base. You know, do you guys remember the peach crumble we did last week? You know, so that had oats, sugar, and butter. Cinnamon. Cinnamon is just for flavor. So this is pretty much the same. So this got biscuits. So equal portions of biscuit crumbs. Right, so we can, just like breadcrumbs, we can buy biscuit crumbs. Or if your biscuit crumbs not available, we can just make our own biscuit crumbs. Okay, so all we have to do is process the biscuit crumbs and melt the. Yes, go for it. So what happens is, you can give it any shape. Okay, with this one, just that, you have to make sure it's pressed firm. Okay, so you need to press it firm. If you want, you can do the base only in the bottom. If you want, when you're making a larger cheesecake, you can do base on the sides as well. Okay, so we've got baking paper in the bottom. On the side, we've got this clear sheet. Okay, so what this is going to do is the cheesecake will have smoother finish. If I put baking paper here and when you remove the baking paper, you know it's a rough finish. Because this is a clear, smooth plastic. Okay, so this is going to leave a smooth finish on your cheesecake. So like that. Okay. So, but when we're making the base, we don't have to do this, or we can do this as well. It doesn't matter how you do it. So, equal portions of butter and the recipe in the cheesecake is the bigger one. Okay, it makes about 1 liter. Yeah, roughly about 800 ml to 1 liter of the cheesecake mix with the berries and stuff. Okay, so this only takes about 150 mils. All right, so you work out how many cheesecake you want to make. I think number one, how many portions have you made? 3 portions. So it's pretty much the same. We make the sabayon. So we made the tiramisu last week, right? What was the process we made? We made the sabayon, and then what did we do after? Nobody remembers.
With the mascarpone.
We keep it in the cool room. No. Sorry.
Whip the cream.
So we slightly whip the cream. So what we made the sabayon. Right, it's pretty much the same. So it's got eggs, sugar, a little bit of water, and then you make a sabayon. It reaches to 38 degrees, and then you take out and you whisk well. Okay, and then what do? You melt your gelatin. Melt. How do we melt it? Soak it in cold water. Alright, how hard is gelatin? Gelatin leaves, that's the only way. I saw some people put them straight in, and I saw some people, they were melting with the water as well. No. Cold water, soak it, squeeze it, take it out, take out all the water, just the gelatin leaves, put it on a double boiler to melt it, okay? And then pour it into the sabayon. and then fold the mascarpone, and at the end the whipped cream. It's pretty much the same. Okay, you guys can do it. Okay, so I want Ryan, Kareen, and Sheldon team to make 3 batches of Sauvignon and also the cheesecake mixture, and then everybody can share. So then we're going to do some marbling of berries. Okay, then we'll puree the berry, and then we will do gentle folding, or it's called marbling. So we can gentle fold so that you have the marble of berry as well. Or if you want, you can do a thick layer of berries. For that you need to use gelatin for in berry puree as well. Okay, so that's how we're going to finish the cheesecake. Okay, so this mixture is like breadcrumbs now. Say, but see that? Okay, it holds the shape. Once you put this in the cool room, it firms up. So what we do is, don't put too much, then it becomes too,
just enough to cover the bottom.
Just enough to cover the bottom, maybe 10 mm. Okay, what is 10 mm? Maybe and then right, do you have that? Just get something to press as well. The the panna cotta or the creme caramel, the molds for the panna cotta.
I know what they're called, but I just can't remember the name.
What are they called?
Starts with D, doesn't it? Something like that.
Yes. Just press it. So you gotta press it firm so that's when it gets smooth finish on the bottom. If not, they crumble up.
Has a nice texture, but it's a little unsmooth.
Okay, and I forgot one more ingredient, which is the
cinnamon.
Cinnamon is just for
disappointing.
It's just for flavor and flavor only. Okay, that's already too much.
Cheesecake not going to oven, is just in the
No, this cheesecake can be baked or set. So this cheesecake is a set cheesecake.
Okay.
This can go in the cool room because it's got the butter. Once it's cold, it becomes firm and set. Okay, so this could be the base for the cheesecake. Okay, so just do that and put it in a tray and put it in the cool room. So that's done. So this everybody can use one. Okay, and then if you run out, make more. Okay, so this is done. Before this, if one person can do this, I want you to start on the bread. I'm not going to give you a demo because we've already done bread a couple of times. So when you're making baguette, the nice and rustic finish, and also nice stretchy bread. I showed you my edges of my pizza base, so it was nice and elastic, okay, crispy as well. So that's what is the main feature in baguette as well. Okay, so kneading is very, very important in the bread. If you don't knead it, you don't get that type of nice and stretchy. The gluten won't stretch that much. Okay, so what I want you to do is start on the bread. I want everybody to set a timer, 12 to 13 minutes. Start kneading. I want every bread mixture to be kneaded for at least 30 minutes by hand, so that we can Kneading is the only thing. Recipe is another thing. When you have yeast and flour, kneading, the more you knead, the better it is. It's very, very rare you can over knead by hand. All right, so can we start on the bread? And also can we make the base for the cheesecake? And then we will continue later. Okay, go ahead.
When I know that's for something else. Sugar, eggs, and
Liquid.
A bit of liquid. Okay, put it on a double boiler.
just bouncing.
And then that should reach 37 degrees. And then you put it into a mixer and mix
Until
it
it's just
so that it rises and the temperature goes down. Okay? So that is what is very wrong. It can be made in the other way by making a sugar syrup or a caramel which goes up to 120 degrees, and then you put the caramel into the mixture. But that it has to be made perfectly. There's very less room of margin. This way is the easiest way of making a sabayon, but you need to know how to do it. Okay? Ryan, if Sheldon is doing this, there should be a mixer ready for him. Why? Stop, Ryan, stop. Why? He's gonna bring the egg mix to 37 degrees. And if he doesn't have a mixer ready, that's not gonna form. You know what I mean? Because if he's waiting there, the temperature is gonna go down and you can't risk it. Is that clear? So if you're doing a mix, where is your mixer? It won't form. Again, you like, I don't know how to explain. Even last week we did the same thing. Even the week before we did the same thing. We're making sabayon maybe the 4th time. Still you say there's confusion. It can't be any confusion. You're making the sabayon for the 4th time. You bring the egg mix, this mixture, it could be egg yolks only or it could be whole egg. Doesn't matter because the recipes are different. Right? And then you bring that mixture to 37 degrees on a double boiler. And you have to put it straight away in here. Straight away. Because the eggs can go up the temperature. If you're not whisking, it can go 38, 39, even when it's not on the bain-marie, and then it can start to cook. If it goes over 42, the sabayon will not form. Once you whisk, this mixture has to become cold, and also the mixture has to become nice and fluffy. That's when the sabayon is done. Is that clear?
Yes.
Now is it clear? You can't just mix it by hand. 3 is okay. 6 egg yolks you can't use by hand. You have to use a mixture, and the consistency of the sabayon is the ribbony consistency. See, when you pour this, you should be able to see the ribbons. Right, it should be at least for 3 seconds, you should be able to see the ribbons. Still not done, okay? So you need to whisk it more. That's when the sabayon starts. So, we did it for tiramisu. We did it for mousse. We did it for cheesecake. We're going to do it again for parfait. For all the set dessert, you need to make the sabayon. So you need to know how to make it. Is that clear?
Yes.
The next week is pretty much the same. Instead of gelatin, we're going to add some coffee essence and whipped cream. When I say whipped cream, because it's a set dessert, it does not have to be fully whipped. No. Again, stop, Ryan. Soft peak is for egg white. When you're making a meringue, that's when you worry about soft peak and firm peak. For cream chantilly or cream, it is never going to be a soft peak or a hard peak. It's going to be whipped or it's over whipped. If it's under whipped, it's okay. If it's under whipped, because we're not going to ice it. I can put the cream straight away in there as well. Doesn't matter. Is that clear? You try to understand what I'm talking. Just whipping the cream, it does not have to be fully whipped, because I can pour the cream straight away in here as well. I can do that as well. Just that if it's slightly whipped, you know, when you're folding, it loses the air, and then again it's going to go flat. Just that, get a little bit extra fluffiness, we whip it. Gently whip. Okay, and when you're making mousse, by the time you fold it, all the whipping is gone down. Okay, so if you feel like experienced, I can just pour the cream directly in here. Right? So the soft peak and the firm peak is meringue and meringue only. So that's never going to go for stiff peak. I can't do this and I can't turn and it will not stand. Is that clear? Yes. So this has to double in size, or when you have too many egg yolks, it will not double. At least get the ribbony consistency, okay?
I thought maybe we get to get some really cold again.
That's the ribbony.
Very active.
It's the gratinated sabayon with berries. There's one dish, gratinated sabayon with berries. That's what it is. Just make sabayon, and you can serve it as an dessert itself. Is that clear? Yes. So that's why it's like a meringue, which is not a meringue. Okay, you know what I mean? For meringue, it's egg white. This is egg yolks. Clear? Yes. Right. So you use that photo for. All right. So next, what do we do? Tell me, what do we do now? For the cheesecake. What do we do now? Don't read the recipe.
Melt the gelatin and
hold it in with the.
Get me the gelatin, please. Okay, no.
we need to use the double roller.
Yes, can I have a spatula, please? That's only a demo. Because you're making sabayon multiple times, so you don't. That's beautiful. All right, so what do we do now? Get the gelatin. I saw maybe 4 or 5 of you using the gelatin wrong last week. That's why I want to show again. But
Lemon and cold.
this is not a rocket science. This is not too hard. melting gelatin should be, you need to melt it. It should be in a liquid form when you add it into this. Simple. Where's a mascarpone? That one? Yes. Yeah, that's how you need to add the gelatin into this. Yes.
Half and half.
Half and half what? No. It's together. So we're gonna make this together. So this is warm. The gelatin's warm. So that's when you're gonna mix everything together. If you put gelatin here, because that's cold and the gelatin's warm, it's only gonna sit in one spot. And now what do we do? You don't have to read the recipe to make the set cake. We already made a couple of times. So now what is the next stage?
I'm guessing we'll whip it.
Whip it? No. Bring me the
Cheese.
cheese.
Oh.
Whisk, please.
So I'm guessing it's a folding pen.
It's not folding, or
Check it's out the recipe.
I know, yes. Or two recipe, add that more. Okay, again, there are different types of mascarpone. If you don't get the smooth mascarpone, you get a firm one as well. There's no way you can make cheesecake with a firm one. Or you need to soften it. Okay, this is getting hard. Why? Because it's 2 batch. And Ryan wanted to make it 3 together. Right? Why you can't make big batches is because folding and whipping and mixing, everything becomes doubly hard when it is all together. See, because I'm taking time, the gelatin's already setting as well. Right? Because this cheese is making this mixture cold and it is about to set as well.
Always follow the recipe first time you're doing something.
Or understand more than, especially when it comes to the dessert, understand what they are asking you to make, because I told you, right, custard, sabayon and meringue, there are different ways each one makes it. Hold it.
Chef, go one more of the egg mixture.
Yes, you can make it again, right? Once I finish this. And how many of you use the timer to lead?
I did.
How many of you use the timer?
I did.
What did I say? Why did I say to use a timer?
Before you can knead it properly and fold it.
How many of you? There's about 9 buckets we're going to make. We're going to make about 20 buckets. How many of you needed using a timer? Then why did I say? If it was not important, I wouldn't have been said that.
At least mix it properly with the yeast. Knead it properly.
If you don't need it, there's no bucket.
You can
Is
see
that clear? If you don't need it, there's only gonna be a bread which is gonna look like
it'll be a dense, chewy
dense.
bread.
It is going to be dense. You know, you see the big pockets, air pockets in the bread, or when you, in a sourdough, in a baguette inside. That's mainly because it's kneaded to the core. Kneaded for 15 minutes. Kneaded for 30 minutes. This one is going to look like a dense cake. You know, when you cut a sponge cake, it still has some air in it, but it's not has that much air. That's why it has to be kneaded, right? So It's up to you. What do you want to do now? Right? So it has to be kneaded until when you touch it, it is
Bounces back.
soft. Okay, and when you touch it, it just bounces straight back.
Ooh, I did it right.
Yes. So you have to do it until then. So it takes a good 15 minutes. Done? Not here, Mike. How can I add it here?
I'll do it. I'll do it.
It has to be, that's not a Sabayon. Okay, it has to be whipped.
That's just the second one, just a cream.
Yeah, that's okay. Cream is 2 batches, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because it's a big batch, I couldn't fold the entire mascarpone. If I use a whisk, it's gonna whip the mascarpone and it's gonna again make it too stiff.
So that's gonna have the.
Gonna have. And then, if I mix it, it's gonna change the color. But now I want to just marble it. Marble it is, you can see the mixing, all right? And
Also, we'll have one chunky texture and one smooth. That's going to turn out very nice.
Oh, no.
I can
all right,
already
so
tell.
this,
Which one for us?
2 different textures in it.
that's it.
The one no name, that one for us?
Get me a spoon, just me a chef spoon, large chef spoon.
No name.
Big cheesecake, I would do the marbling in the cake. Because it's a small one, I just to show you guys, I did it. And then you can do some using a pulley, and then you can do here as well. Right? Marbling and feathering is different. Feathering is you make different shapes in here. Marbling is easy. So the feathering, can you get me a skewer, please?
Igual es como único, no pasa nada. O sea, solo como para poner.
So it needs
Okay, chef.
Can I try this up here?
Put my name.
All right.
That's not my name.
In your
I see what you're doing there.
all right. In your assessment, there's something called feathering. So that was marbling. This is feathering. Feathering is.
You can make mine.
Can I have a paper towel, please?
I've done this before. It's just a little different.
Spider.
Similar to a web
And then
book.
inside.
Like similar to building a web sort of.
feathering is just using a skewer to do the lines, right?
It's not skewer. You can get a feathering knife as well.
Don't think we have one of those.
No, we don't have those.
But it can be any.
But it can be anything. Okay, so that is what is feathering. Like that, I can do different shapes as well. So that is what is feathering, and that's what's marbling. Is that clear? Can we finish this? Stretch.
But also keep from splitting.
yeah, stretch further. Alright? So it has to be done in a pattern, because that, if you don't do it right, one side of your bread will be more and one side will be less, because that's going to go in that direction. So what I want to do is, I want to go
You're wanting to move one of them, aren't you?
say if this is the top part, okay, I'm going to go like that, and the next one I want to start halfway. Halfway. Know what I mean?
Yes.
Don't do it straight, or don't do this and don't start here. Halfway. So that if the shape is even and it holds the shape. You see this? If not, this part is thicker, this part is thinner. This part is raising, bulging out. To avoid all of that, we use, so this is done in a sharp blade, very light as well, but we're trying to replicate with the paring knife again. And this bread is too soft now. I can't even lift it because it's very, very soft. Okay? So
I can't make that joke, not right now.
right? And then the depth is about 20 mils. If you go too deeper, it will overcook. All
If
right?
you don't go deep enough, you fuck it up.
So this is scoring. Once this is done, if you want a glossy finish, you
Egg
can
wash.
egg wash. If you want a nice and rustic finish, like a traditional baguette, then just dust the flour.
It's gonna be terrible walking home later.
Huh?
It's gonna be terrible walking back to
Is
my
it still
apartment.
raining?
Can't you hear him? It's fucking pissing
And
down.
this goes into the oven, which is about 260. All right. Again, everybody over here. All right. I don't want to open the oven door very often, but after you score, this bread can stay outside. So what I want you to do is bring all your bread, score it, leave it outside. Once 3 or 4 trays ready, open and put, and that's it.
Just
Can you
open
do
one.
that now?
Yes.